Welcome, I'm Jane Powers, and entrepreneurs hire me to speak with confidence and sell with authority. We have covered a number of different things already. Number one, you understand who you are in the speaking world because you took the speaker assessment profile. If you haven't, click below and get the assessment taken because you've got to understand who you are from the platform. Because I'm going to tell you, it is costing you thousands of dollars every time you fall too deeply into one of those categories. So make sure you take the assessment. The second thing we've done is we've created your intromercial. Actually, you started creating your intromercial. We're going to do the rest in the live training coming up, and you can register below on that training. We're going to go into today 3 key components that you must have in your talk that sell. 3 key elements that must be there in this order, or I promise you, you will lose money. So let's get started. This is positioning. Do you have your favorite position? I do. Now, we're not talking about that. We're talking about from a platform. Come on, people. The positioning that you absolutely must start with the minute you hit stage is positioning yourself. I call that my position me segment. Make sure, write that down, position me. The way you're going to determine the positioning statement is to determine what you have done in your past. Many people think they can't bring the past with them. I'm going to tell you, the best thing I do is I bring what I've done into my talk because it builds credibility, it builds curiosity, and immediately I am the authority and the expert from stage. So position me is a way that you say to your audience, you are well qualified, you are the person they need to listen to, you're confident, competent, and credible. You've got to be able to communicate that immediately, otherwise guess what? Your audience is going to question you, they are going to doubt you, they're going to look for holes in your content and anything that you have to offer. So let's look at how do you position yourself. Let me give you what mine looks like as an example so it helps you start to generate ideas. Positioning statement sounds like this. I'm Jane Powers. I have created 2 multi-million-dollar businesses, a 6-figure coaching business in under 11 months with 300 people on my list. I did that with a handshake, a smile, and a talk. Entrepreneurs hire me today to speak with confidence and sell with authority because most are boring, confusing, and inconsistent. So I help them connect, capture, and close their ideal audience. Bottom line, every time you open your mouth, you make money. What I've done is I've told them the successes I have had. I continue with that to further position myself by pausing and saying, my career started in the prison. What does that have to do with anything I'm doing in the speaking and sales training arena? Well, it has a lot to do with it. What that says is I am courageous enough to work in a prison and stand my ground. It immediately triggers the audience to get curious about me. Oh my gosh, how did she do that? Could she get out of prison? I never tell them that I worked in the prison. I say my career started in a prison. So it triggers the curiosity in the mind of the audience. I then continue to say, I went to the drug and alcohol treatment centers. Yes, I was on a journey. People don't know what side of the fence I was on, what side of the treatment I was on. It creates a curiosity in them and continues to put me higher and higher up because they're gaining respect. Number one, most people have not worked in a prison. They can only imagine from the movies they've seen what it's like. So they put me in a unique category of an individual. That, again, is building credibility. What have you done that builds credibility, that is impressive? I'm going to tell you, numbers, stats, percentages, names are wonderful. I many times will be a name dropper. And I worked with the greats in the industry of New Thought and spiritual development. Mary Morrissey, Bob Proctor. Some of you may have heard of The Secret. Gay Hendricks. I love dropping names because people go, oh, she's somebody. I also have created 2 multi-million-dollar businesses. Most people have not done that. Numbers, jobs, positions, results that most people haven't gotten, if you have those, share those. So here's a great exercise for you to do. What you're going to do is write down every single job you've had and every problem you've solved. The worksheet is below, Positioning to Profit. Download the PDF and fill that out. Every job you have had will determine the problem you have solved back then and what you're solving now. Because actually in the prison, what did I have to do? I had to gain credibility. I had to position myself as an authority, or what would happen? My God, seriously, there would be a gang riot. I had to maintain control of my audience. So every single thing you have done applies to what you're doing today. Some people want to leave that behind. You just can't. So positioning yourself is saying, I am awesome. I am the authority. I know what I'm talking about. You have got to position yourself right out of the gate in your talk, or the rest of it, you might as well just be a speaker that is inspiring and educating. And inspiration without action is merely entertainment. And I don't believe you're in the entertainment business. I believe you're in the money-making business. So let's make you some money from your talk. The very first thing is to position yourself. Position yourself as the expert. So position me, and then you move to position them. Your audience doesn't always know that they're in a great deal of pain. Some of you have seen that movie with Tom Hanks. I can't even think of the name of it, where he had Wilson. Well, he was on an island forever. I'm going to tell you, Tom Hanks clearly understood his problem, clearly understood his pain, clearly understood the solution he needed. So I'm going to tell you, a sale to Tom Hanks when he's on that island is pretty easy. You can sell him a burger in a minute, because he's aware of his problem. Many times your audience is blind to what their problem is. Most of the time, you've got to help your audience understand their problem. The next section is position them. Your audience is not always aware that they have that problem. You've got to help them understand that. So position them is basically every pain point of your ideal audience, every pain point that you solve for, everything that they need, you've got to help them understand that. For example, my intromercial starts out by telling my audience what their pain points are. Boring, confusing, and inconsistent, and I'm probably the only one who will tell you. Many times people won't tell you that this is why you're losing money. Because most individuals do not have a clearly articulated message. They are not selling from any platform because their talk does not have the 7 key elements that must be there in order to sell. They are confusing what it is that they offer and the problem they solve. That's me delivering position them. I'm telling you, all the pain points my clients are experiencing, that's what I do from stage. So position them is all the pain points that are key to your audience. In absence of helping them see why they need you, I'm going to tell you, your sales will drop by 50%. If they clearly understand, that's me. I'm going to tell you, by the middle of my talk, I can tell people, folks, you're screwed. And they laugh. They're like, oh my God, I am so screwed. Are you screwed? We're both screwed. And they're celebrating the awareness. But the key is that they get hope. They know that I have the answer to their problem. So positioning is so very important. Position yourself as the authority. Position yourself as the expert. And then position them as the pain point. So position me as basically, I'm awesome. Position them as, you're screwed. And then the final positioning is your call to action. You must have a call to action in any presentation. It doesn't matter if it's free or paid, it must have a call to action. Positioning them to take action is your third step in positioning. So what is your call to action? Because quite frankly, any presentation must start with the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. What do I want them to buy? What do I want them to do? What do I want them to like? What do I want them to do? You've got to have an action step that they're going to take. Taking a look at the 3 positioning statements, it's got to make sense to you because you're like, I get it. I'm awesome. You're not so awesome, but I'm going to help you. Let me tell you, when I was working in the prison, as I said, I was working in the prison and I knew the best way to gain control and command a room was to take out the highest gang member. One day I was doing security. I was an intern. I was just in college when I started there, and I was watching over an entire room of felons. And I had to get control of that room. Everybody was leaving the room. Well, that's not good. So I took out the top gang member just by calling him out and sending him into isolation. I'm going to tell you, I commanded credibility immediately. Everyone listened to me at that point because I demonstrated that I was the credible source of power. That's what you've got to do. I know that sounds like an extreme example and you're not going to send your audience to isolation, but quite frankly, they need you desperately. And in absence of them trusting you, they're not going to buy. And if they don't buy, they're going to be in the same situation they were before they met you. Your job as a speaker is to help people to move into action, to get results, to transform to whatever you provide. So make sure that you are responsible. You're helping them see that you are a trusted advisor, see that they need you through their awareness of pain, and then move them into action. Ask them, invite them, direct them to do something that is going to benefit them. I know this has been a lot in this video, but this is powerful information that I promise you will change how you deliver any presentation, whether it's in a boardroom or it is standing from stage or standing in this video. So, holding true to my positioning, all the statements, I'm going to position you with my call to action. You have got the opportunity to come to a live training. We're going to create and manifest some of the best information around your intromercial. I'm going to facilitate that live training. We're going to talk about positioning because quite frankly, the intromercial is the most powerful piece of your positioning statement. You've got the opportunity now to register for the live training. You're also going to get another email from me that's going to invite you to that training. You get the download of your Positioning to Profit PDF. Take advantage of this. This is an opportunity for you to get out into the world, articulate your message so clearly that every time you open your mouth, you sell. So I look forward to seeing you on the live training and engaging with you to make a bigger impact, to make greater sales.